Jiang Hao, let us get divorced. Lu Ruyan pushed the divorce agreement away indifferently, without a trace of nostalgia in her eyes. I don't want the child. I'll give you the house and the car, but I only ask you to let me go free. I looked at this woman who had been with me for 3 years, and my heart was broken. What she didn't know was that the real estate certificate on the table, which she looked down upon, had a market value of 800 million yuan. And I am about to inherit the Jiang Group, which has assets worth hundreds of billions. In the conference room, I listened to the director's reports with a blank expression. Mr. Jiang, revenue in the third quarter increased by 32% year-on-year, and overseas market expansion was successful. The phone vibrated. It was a message from Lu Ruyan. I have a social engagement in the evening and won't be going home for dinner. This is the 15th time this month. 3 years ago, when I came back from the United States to take over the family business, I concealed my identity in order to experience the life of an ordinary person. I worked as a programmer in a small company with a monthly salary of 12,000 yuan. It was there that I met Ruyan Lu. She was the marketing director of the company, very beautiful and gentle. We fell in love quickly and got married a year later. After marriage, I still maintained my identity as an ordinary programmer. I left home early and came back late every day. She thought I was just a programmer struggling for a living. We lived in a 90-square-meter house. She didn't know that my name was on the property certificate, nor did she know the true value of this house in the city center. Husband, you're back. When I opened the door, I saw Lu Ruyan busy in the kitchen. She looked gentle and virtuous in her apron, completely different from the strong female manager outside during the day. Why are you here so early today? I put down my briefcase and headed for the kitchen. I want to make you a delicious meal. She turned around and smiled at me. By the way, the company has a new vice president. I heard that he came back from overseas. He is young and promising. My heart skipped a beat. A new vice president? How come I didn't know? Oh. Who? His name is Lin Zihao. He is 28 years old, graduated from Harvard, and is said to be a rich second generation. A hint of excitement flashed in her eyes, and she said, there will be a company dinner next week, you should come with us. Lin Zihao? I remember this name. Dad did mention introducing a young management talent a while ago. I didn't expect it to be in Lu Ruyan's company. Okay. I nodded, but I had a bad feeling in my heart. While eating, Lu Ruyan kept talking about Lin Zihao. He drove a Maserati to work today, and all the girls in the company went crazy. He is also very handsome, with a great temperament, and you can tell at first glance that he is an elite. I heard that he doesn't have a girlfriend yet. I ate my meal in silence without saying anything. After dinner, Lu Ruyan went to take a shower. I secretly looked up Lin Zihao's information. He is indeed an outstanding young man with an impressive resume. But why did he choose to work for a small company like Lu Ruyan? With his conditions, he can directly enter our group headquarters. I have a vague feeling that this matter is not that simple. Honey, I'm done washing. Lu Ruyan came out of the bathroom, wearing only a bath towel, with wet hair scattered on her shoulders. Normally at this time, we would have some sex, but today, I wasn't in the mood. I still have some work to do. I avoided her gaze and walked towards the study. I heard her sigh of disappointment from behind. In the study, I turned on the computer and called up the company's monitoring system. As the actual controller of the group, I have the right to review the situation of all subsidiaries. I found the surveillance footage from Ruyan Lu's company and saw Lin Zihao. He is indeed very handsome and has a good temperament. No wonder Lu Ruyan is so excited. I fast-forwarded the video and watched his movements throughout the day. Everything was normal until 5:30 in the afternoon. Surveillance footage showed that Lin Zihao walked into Lu Ruyan's office. The two chatted for half an hour, during which Lu Ruyan laughed happily. What concerned me most was that when Lin Zihao left, Lu Ruyan saw him off to the elevator. As the elevator door was about to close, I saw a scene that made my heart beat faster. Lin Zihao reached out and touched Lu Ruyan's cheek. But Lu Ruyan did not dodge. I stared at the screen, replaying those few seconds over and over again. Yes, it was such an ambiguous action. A man who has just known a woman for a day would never do this to a married woman. Unless they knew each other before. Or maybe Lu Ruyan gave him some kind of hint. I turned off my computer, my mind a mess. When I returned to the bedroom, Lu Ruyan was already asleep. The moonlight shone on her face and she slept peacefully. Is this woman whom I have loved deeply for 3 years really going to betray me? I lay in bed and stayed awake all night. Little Tiger bot document anti-piracy, find books machines people select Little Tiger, stable reliable, don't step into pits. The next morning, Lu Ruyan got up very early and put on some light makeup. Are you meeting an important client today? I asked. No, I just want to look more lively. She fixed her hair in front of the mirror, her movements were very careful. By the way, Vice President Lin is treating everyone to dinner tonight, so I may be back late. I nodded and said nothing. After Lu Ruyan left, I immediately called my assistant. Xiao Wang, please help me investigate Lin Ziheo's detailed background, including his social relationships. Also, starting today, keep a close eye on Lu Ruyan's movements. I understand, Mr. Jiang. After hanging up the phone, I took a deep breath. I hope I'm overthinking it. But if not, I will let them know the price of deceiving Zhang Hao. At 10 o'clock in the morning, Xiao Wang sent the preliminary investigation results. Lin Ziheo, 28 years old, did graduate from Harvard. However, he is not a rich second generation. His father was just an ordinary middle school teacher and his mother was a hospital nurse. That Maserati was rented. More importantly, 3 months ago, he met Lu Ruyan at a high-end cocktail party. That day, Lu Ruyan was wearing all branded clothes and claimed to be the boss lady of a certain company. I see. She made up an identity outside and attracted Lin Ziheo's attention. And Lin Ziheo was also using a fake identity to approach her. This couple is truly a match made in heaven. I sneered and continued reading. According to investigations, Lin Ziheo entered Ruyan Lu's company solely to pursue her. He got the position of vice president by using his connections. And Lu Ruyan, knowing that he approached her for a purpose, still cooperated with the acting. In fact, last night's dinner was totally fake. Surveillance footage showed that the two of them went to a 5-star hotel. I stayed in the room for 3 full hours. When I saw this, I almost dropped my phone to the ground. 3 years of marriage was betrayed so easily. I took a deep breath and forced myself to calm down. Anger can't solve the problem, I need wisdom. Since they want to play, I will play with them to the end. Let us see who is the winner in the end. At 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I returned home on time. Lu Ruyan hasn't come back yet, but she sent a message saying that the dinner has been postponed and she will be home later. I sat on the sofa, and the images from the surveillance camera kept appearing in my mind. She and Lin Ziheo entered the hotel so intimately and naturally. It was as if she had done this kind of betrayal many times. At 7:30, the door lock clicked. Honey, I'm back. Lu Ruyan's voice sounded a little tired. She put on her slippers and walked to the living room. I carefully observed her expression and movements. How was the dinner? I tried to sound normal. It's okay, just a little tired. She sat next to me, and the Vice President Lin was quite talkative and made everyone very happy. Really? How about him? He's pretty good, very capable, and humorous. When she talked about Lin Ziheo, a gleam flashed in her eyes, but she quickly concealed it. By the way, he said he wanted to meet you and heard that you have great skills. I sneered in my heart. You want to get to know me? I guess you want to show off that you stole my wife. Okay, we'll get to know each other if we have a chance. In the next few days, Lu Ruyan's abnormality became more and more obvious. She started working overtime frequently and even said she had work plans on weekends. Moreover, she began to pay attention to her appearance, standing in front of the mirror for a long time every morning and choosing clothes became particularly careful. The most important thing is that she became increasingly cold towards me. We used to chat every night, but now she says she is tired when she gets home and goes to bed early. I saw through surveillance that her relationship with Lin Ziheo developed very quickly. They often have physical contact in the office and hug and kiss when no one is around. Moreover, they went to the hotel several more times. Every time I see these scenes, my heart feels like it's being cut by a knife. But I forced myself to stay calm and continue collecting evidence. On Friday night, Lu Ruyan said she was going to have dinner with her colleagues and would be back very late. I knew she was going on a date with Lin Ziheo again. This time, I decided to go and see for myself. At 8 o'clock, I drove to the hotel they often went to. Soon, I saw Lin Ziheo's Maserati parked in front of the hotel. Not long after, they walked out of the hotel hand in hand. Lu Ruyan was wearing a red dress that I had never seen before and had exquisite makeup on. She has never dressed like this for me. They hugged each other goodbye at the hotel entrance, and Lu Ruyan stood on tiptoe and gave Lin Zihao a light kiss on the lips. At that moment, my heart died completely. I drove home and sat in the living room waiting for her to come back. At 10:30, Lu Ruyan came back. "Honey, you haven't slept yet?" She was a little surprised. "Waiting for you." I looked at her. "How about the dinner?" "It was good, we had a good chat." She avoided my eyes and I went to take a shower, feeling a little tired. "Wait." I called her. "What's wrong? When did your lipstick fall off?" She touched her lips in panic and found that the lipstick was indeed gone. "Maybe it fell while eating." "Really? Then why haven't I seen the clothes you are wearing today?" Her expression changed. "I just bought it and wanted to give you a surprise." "Surprise?" I stood up and said, "Lu Ruyan, do you think I'm a fool?" She took a step back. "What do you mean?" "You know what I mean." I walked towards her and asked, "Tell me, when did you and Lin Zihao start dating?" Her face turned pale instantly. "What are you talking about? I don't understand." "Don't understand?" I took out my phone and pulled up a photo of the hotel entrance. "What is this?" When Lu Ruyan saw the photo, she was completely panicked. She opened her mouth, wanting to explain something, but in the end nothing came out. "Jiang Hao, I." "What? Are you sorry for me? You said you love me?" My voice is getting colder and colder. 3 years, Lu Ruyan, for 3 whole years, I have regarded you as the most important person in my life, and what about you? What do you think of me? A spare tire that can be discarded at any time? With tears in her eyes, "Jiang Hao, please listen to my explanation." "Explain?" I sneered. "How are you going to explain? Explain why you went to the hotel with him? Explain why you kissed him behind my back? Or do you want to explain why you deceived me for 3 years? She cried, "I didn't deceive you, I." "No?" I interrupted her. "What about Lin Zihao? The so-called second-generation rich vice president is actually just an ordinary person, and you, pretending to be the boss's wife, seduced him outside. Isn't this called cheating?" She looked at me in shock. "How did you know?" How I knew it was not important. I took a deep breath. What was important was that, Ruyan Lu, our marriage was over. "You can move out tomorrow. I will ask a lawyer to prepare the divorce agreement." "Jiang Hao," don't she grabbed my arm and said, "Give me one chance, I swear I will change." I shook my head. "It's too late. From the moment you betrayed me, we were over." I pushed her away and walked towards the bedroom. Her heart-wrenching cries were heard behind me. But my heart has completely turned cold. I didn't sleep that night. Lying in bed, thinking back to every detail of the past 3 years. The happiness I once thought of turned out to be false. When it was daybreak, I got up and washed. Lu Ruyan was no longer at home and her luggage had been packed. There was a note on the dining table. "Jiang Hao, I'm sorry. But I don't regret it, because I finally found true love. Lin Zihao is 100 times better than you, and I have a future with him. I don't want this house and car anymore, just consider it as compensation for you. I hope you can find the right person for you." After reading the note, I laughed. True love? The man who drives a rented Maserati and has to borrow money even for rent? The con man who fabricated an identity to woo you? Lu Ruyan, do you really think that is love? I took out my cell phone and called my assistant. "Xiao Wang, help me do a few things. First, acquire the company where Lin Zihao works. Second, investigate all of Lin Zihao's debt relationships. Third, contact the best divorce lawyer." "Yes, Mr. Jiang." After hanging up the phone, I walked to the window and looked at the city outside. The game has just begun. 3 days later, I received a call from Xiao Wang. "Mr. Jiang, the acquisition is complete. That company is now our subsidiary. I have also investigated Lin Zihao's debt situation. He owes 150,000 yuan on credit cards and 200,000 yuan on car loans. In addition, the cost of renting his Maserati was 8,000 per month, and he had been in arrears for 3 months. Very good." I nodded with satisfaction and asked the new general manager to announce the layoff list tomorrow, with Lin Zihao being the first. In addition, notify the car rental company that Lin Zihao is in arrears with the rent and the car can be taken back. Clear. After hanging up the phone, I felt very good. Let them experience what it's like to fall from the clouds. The next morning, my cell phone rang. It was Lu Ruyan who called. Jiang Hao, did you do something? Her voice was excited. What did I do? I pretended not to know. Lin Zihao was fired from the company and his car was taken away. Did you do this? Lu Ruyan, did you make a mistake? I sneered, I am just a programmer with a monthly salary of 12,000 yuan, how can I have such great ability? You? She was so angry that she couldn't speak. What? Did your true love encounter setbacks? My tone was full of sarcasm. Didn't he say he was 100 times better than me? How come he couldn't even keep his job? Jiang Hao, please, let him go. Her voice began to choke. I know I am sorry for you. If you want revenge, take revenge on me, don't involve innocent people. Innocent? I laughed. A man who seduces you even though he knows you are married, is he innocent? Besides, it was all his own fault. His car was taken away for not paying the rent, and he was fired for not doing his job well. What does it have to do with me? Jiang Hao. I hung up the phone directly. In the afternoon, Xiao Wang sent another message. Mr. Jiang, Lin Zihao found Lu Ruyan. They were in the coffee shop and seemed to be arguing. Take some pictures for me. Soon, the photos came. Lin Zihao looked angry and Lu Ruyan was crying. It seems that there is a crack in the relationship between this couple. In the evening, Lu Ruyan called me again. Jiang Hao, let us meet and talk. There's nothing to talk about. Please, just meet once. Her voice was tired, downstairs in the cafe. I thought about it and agreed. Half an hour later, we met in the cafe. Lu Ruyan looked much more haggard, with red and swollen eyes, obviously having cried. Jiang Hao, I know I was wrong. She started apologizing as soon as we met. I really know I was wrong, please forgive me. Forgive you? I looked at her coldly. Lu Ruyan, do you think some things can be forgiven? I'd do anything to make amends. She grabbed my hand and begged me to give her a chance. I pulled my hand back, it's too late. Isn't it because of Lin Zihao? She suddenly said, you are retaliating against him because you are jealous of him, right? I looked at her and suddenly smiled. Lu Ruyan, don't you understand yet? I have never been jealous of Lin Zihao. My voice was calm because he was not worthy at all. You know what really makes me sad? She shook her head blankly. It's your choice. I said slowly, for 3 years, I thought you loved Jiang Hao. But now I understand, the one you loved was never me, but the successful man you thought he was. So when you met Lin Zihao, who you thought was more successful, you betrayed me without hesitation. And when Lin Zihao was down and out, you wanted to come back to me. Lu Ruyan, do you know what this means? There was a look of fear in her eyes. This shows that in your heart, feelings can be traded. I stood up, and I never make such a deal. Jiang Hao, it's not like that. She wanted to explain. You know whether this is true or not. I will take out the divorce agreement that I have prepared long ago, please sign it. She looked at the divorce agreement and burst into tears. What if I don't sign? See you in court. There was no warmth in my voice. When the time comes, those photos and videos of you and Lin Zihao will become evidence in court. Her face turned pale instantly. You took pictures of us secretly? It was not secretly filming, it was collecting evidence. I corrected her and said that as the victim, I have the right to protect my legal rights. She looked at me desperately, and finally picked up a pen and signed her name on the divorce agreement. Jiang Hao, one day you will regret it, she said through gritted teeth. No. I put away the agreement and I will just be glad that I cut my losses in time. Walking out of the cafe, I took a deep breath. The 3-year marriage officially ended. When I got home and looked at the empty house, I wasn't as sad as I had imagined. On the contrary, I felt a long-lost sense of relief. Next, it was time to reclaim my true identity. I took out my cell phone and called my father. Dad, I'm ready to go back to the company. Finally figured it out? My father's voice was very happy. I thought you were going to be an ordinary person forever. I've experienced enough. I smiled, and now I have nothing to worry about. Then come back tomorrow, there are still many things waiting for you to deal with in the company. Okay. After hanging up the phone, I walked to the window. Starting tomorrow, Jiang Hao, an ordinary programmer, will disappear. The one who replaced him was the heir of Jiang Group. Lu Ruyan and Lin Zihao will soon find out what they have lost. But all this has nothing to do with me anymore. I have regained my freedom. The next morning, I put on my long-missed handmade suit and drove a Porsche 911 to the Jiang Group headquarters. Mr. Jiang, you are finally back. The security guard at the door bowed to me excitedly. I nodded and took the exclusive elevator to the president's office on the top floor. Assistant Xiao Wang is already waiting at the door. Mr. Jiang, welcome back. Get ready, there will be a high-level meeting in an hour. I walked into the office. In addition, I wanted to know the current situation of Lu Ruyan and Lin Zihao. Yes, Mr. Jiang. Xiao Wang quickly recorded that I just received the latest news about Lu Ruyan and Lin Zihao. After Lin Zihao lost his job, he tried several jobs but none of them worked out. In order to help him, Lu Ruyan gave him all her savings. However, after Lin Zihao got the money, he did not use it to find a job, but went to Macau to gamble with his friends. As a result, he lost everything and even incurred more debt. I sneered, and then what? After Lu Ruyan found out, she had a big fight with him. Lin Zihao said that it was because of her that he lost his job, and now he was looking down on him for not having money. In the end, Lin Zihao dumped her and said he was going to find a real rich girl. Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh. It's karma. Mr. Jiang, there is one more thing. Xiao Wang continued, Lu Ruyan came to our company yesterday and said she wanted to see you. Meet me? I raised my eyebrows. Did she know who I was? It should be. She said at the front desk that she was Mr. Jiang's ex-wife and had something important to discuss. How did the front desk handle it? As you instructed before, say you are not in the company and ask her to leave her contact information. Very good. I nodded with satisfaction and kept going. I didn't want to see her for the time being. Clear. The senior management meeting in the morning went smoothly. I officially announced my return to the company's management and proposed several new strategic plans. After the meeting, I was about to deal with some documents when Xiao Wang walked in hurriedly. Mr. Jiang, something bad has happened. Lu Ruyan is causing trouble in the lobby downstairs. Make trouble? She said you were her ex-husband and now she pretended not to know her. She also said she wanted to expose the fact that you cheated on her. I frowned. Where is the security? The security guards didn't dare to touch her, fearing that it was really a personal grudge against you. I'll go and take a look. I took the elevator to the first floor lobby and saw Lu Ruyan making loud noises at the front desk from a distance. She was wearing cheap clothes and her hair was not well groomed, which was completely different from her previous exquisite image. Jiang Hao, I know you are here. She shouted to the receptionist, come out and see me. Miss, please don't make too much noise. The receptionist said politely that this is a company, not a private place. I don't care. Lu Ruyan was very emotional. Jiang Hao must come out to see me. He owes me an explanation. I walked over. Is there anything I can help you with? Lu Ruyan turned around and saw me and was stunned. I was wearing a handmade suit worth $100,000 and a Patek Philippe watch, and I was completely different from the Jiang Hao in her memory. You really are, she opened her mouth, speechless. Jiang Hao, the president of Jiang Group. I said calmly, excuse me, young lady, what can I do for you? The employees around stopped and looked at the scene curiously. Jiang Hao, how could you do this to me? Lu Ruyan's eyes were filled with tears. We are husband and wife. Husband and wife? I sneered, Miss, I think you are wrong. We are divorced and have no legal relationship. Besides, it was you who said I was not worthy of you and took the initiative to file for divorce. Why are you looking for me now? Lu Ruyan's face turned pale. I didn't know you were the president of Jiang Group. Don't know? I pretended to be surprised, then who do you think I am? I thought you were just an ordinary programmer. Her voice trailed off. Oh, I see. I suddenly realized, you want to get back together because you know my true identity? She shook her head hurriedly, no. No? I interrupted her, then what are you doing here? I want to know, why did you hide your identity? Why did you lie to me? Cheating? My voice rose. Miss Liu, please clarify. I have never lied to you. I am indeed a programmer in a small company, and my monthly salary is indeed 12,000 yuan. I just didn't tell you my family background. Is that cheating? What about you? You pretend to be the boss's wife and seduce other men. Isn't this cheating? The employees around began to whisper and point fingers. Lu Ruyan felt everyone's gazes and her face turned red. Jiang Hao, I know I was wrong, please forgive me. She suddenly knelt down and said, I am willing to do anything to make up for it. Seeing her kneel down, the people around her became even more curious. Please stand up. I said indifferently, this is a company, not a farce scene. If you don't have anything else to do, please leave. Otherwise I'll have to call security. Jiang Hao, please. She hugged my legs and said, I really know I was wrong. Can we start over? Start over? I looked at her, my voice full of sarcasm. Miss Liu, I think you made a mistake. Why should I start over with a woman who betrayed me? What's more, as far as I know, don't you have a boyfriend, Lin Zihao? He has left me, she cried. He took all my savings and disappeared. That's a pity, I said coldly, but it has nothing to do with me. Jiang Hao, after all, we have been in love for 3 years. Feelings? I interrupted her. Do you think there is any feeling between us? If we were in love, would you betray me for a man you just met? If you were in love, what would you write in your divorce papers? Miss Liu, wake up. There has never been any real love between us. There is only your deception and exploitation. After saying that, I turned around and left. Jiang Hao. She yelled, you can't do this to me. I've spent 3 years of my youth on you. I stopped and looked back at her. Pay? I sneered, what did you pay? Should I go to work early and come back late every day while you enjoy yourself at home, or should I give all my salary to you to manage and you spend it at will? Or is it that cheating on me with another man is also a kind of sacrifice? She was speechless after what I said. Security, I yelled to the door. Yes, Mr. Jiang. Please ask this lady to leave and do not let her into the company again. Yes. 2 security guards came over and carried Lu Ruyan. Jiang Hao, you will regret this. She was still shouting when she was dragged away, you will definitely regret it. I watched her back as she was dragged away, without a single ripple in my heart. Regret? My only regret is that I didn't see her true face earlier. After Lu Ruyan was kicked out of the company, I thought the matter was over. Unexpectedly, the next day, I saw an explosive article on the internet. The title is exaggerated. The heir to a wealthy family concealed his identity and deceived the feelings of an innocent girl, then threw her away after getting tired of her. The article described my love story with Ruyan Lu in detail, portraying me as a scumbag who deceived women's feelings, and Ruyan Lu as an innocent victim who was defrauded of her money and sex. Below the article is Lu Ruyan's personal account, crying about how she was deceived by me, how she gave up everything for me, but was finally ruthlessly abandoned. What is even more outrageous is that the article also implied that I used my power to take revenge on her true love, Lin Zihao. After reading the article, I was so angry that I almost threw my phone. This woman really does everything she can. Mr. Jiang, this article has spread very quickly on the internet and has been forwarded tens of thousands of times. Xiao Wan walked into the office with a serious expression. Did you find out who sent it? We found out that it was a self-media account called Angel of Love, which specializes in publishing such explosive articles. According to the investigation, Lu Ruyan gave the other party 50,000 yuan to ask them to publish this article. I sneered, she is really willing to spend money to discredit me. Mr. Jiang, should we handle this with public relations? No need. I waved my hand. Since she wanted to play, I would play with her till the end. You contact the best lawyer you can find and sue her for defamation. In addition, I also sorted out the real reason for our divorce and the evidence of her cheating. Clear. In the afternoon, the company's public relations department issued a clarification statement, detailing the truth of the matter and releasing some evidence of Lu Ruyan's cheating. At the same time, our legal team also formally filed a defamation lawsuit in court. The tide of opinion online quickly changed. Netizens who originally sympathized with Ruyan Lu began to condemn her after seeing the evidence of her cheating. It turned out that the cheating woman wanted to hype herself up to clear herself. This kind of woman deserves to be abandoned. Fortunately, Mr. Jiang stopped the loss in time, otherwise he would have been cheated on for the rest of his life. After reading the comments online, I feel much better. But it's not over yet. The next night, I was working overtime at the company when I suddenly received a strange phone call. Mr. Jiang? I'm Lu Ruyan. Is there anything wrong? I asked coldly. Jiang Hao, why did you do this to me? Her voice was very angry. You posted those photos and made me get scolded online. Now I can't even find a job, everyone knows me. So what? I sneered, you were the one who spread rumors and slandered me first. You think I'm going to sit there and wait for death? Jiang Hao, we are husband and wife after all, you can't be so heartless. Husband and wife? My voice turned cold. When you cheated on me, did you ever think that we were husband and wife? She was speechless. Lu Ruyan, you were the one who broke up with me first, so don't blame me for being rude. Jiang Hao, you have left me with nothing, what else do you want? She began to cry. Hurt you? I sneered, these are your own choices. You chose to betray, to slander, and to hype, and you should bear the consequences. I beg you, please let me go. She choked and said, I really know I was wrong. It's too late. I said indifferently that if you make some mistakes, you must bear the consequences. After hanging up the phone, I continued to work. But after a while, Xiao Wang ran in hurriedly. Mr. Jiang, something bad has happened. What's wrong? Lu Ruyan is downstairs in the company, she wants to jump off the building. I was stunned for a moment, then quickly went to the window and looked down. There were indeed a lot of people gathered downstairs, and fire trucks and ambulances also arrived. I could see Lu Ruyan standing on the rooftop of the building opposite, seemingly talking to someone. What did she say? I asked Xiao Wang. She said if you don't come down to see her, she will jump. Xiao Wang said nervously, and said she would use death to prove your ruthlessness. I sneered, she is really good at acting to this extent. Mr. Jiang, let's go down and take a look, in case something really happens. Something happened? I interrupted him, do you think she would really jump? This kind of woman values her life the most. Would she be willing to die? But what if? There is no chance of that happening. I said with certainty that this was just another one of her tricks. The purpose is to make me compromise and make public opinion sympathize with her. Sure enough, as soon as I finished speaking, Xiao Wang's cell phone rang. Mr. Jiang, a reporter wants to interview you and ask you what you think about your ex-wife wanting to jump off the building. See? I sneered, even the reporters were called in, this was planned long ago. So what should we do? I went back to my seat and let her act and see how long she could act. Sure enough, after standing on the rooftop for 2 hours, Lu Ruyan was rescued by firefighters. The next day, the news reported that she was depressed because of a setback in her relationship, but fortunately she was rescued in time. Some self-media also began to attack me, saying that I was cold-blooded and forced my ex-wife to commit suicide. But I still didn't respond. I know that the more you pay attention to this kind of woman, the more she will become more and more demanding. The best thing to do is to ignore her existence. Sure enough, after a few days, there was no more news about Lu Ruyan. It seems that she also knows that this method is no longer effective. Just when I thought the matter was finally over, Xiao Wang brought another unexpected news. Mr. Jiang, Lin Zihao is back. Are you back? Yes, and it is said that he is hooked up with a rich woman, and her status and position are quite high. Interesting. I put down the document in my hand and explained it in detail. The rich woman is called Zhao Yalan, she is in her 40s, is in the real estate business and has a net worth of tens of billions. Somehow Lin Zihao hooked up with her and now he's her boyfriend. Moreover, Zhao Yalan also bought a company for Lin Zihao and made him the general manager. I squinted, where are they now? Right in this city, Lin Zihao posted a circle of friends yesterday to show off his new identity. Let me see. Xiao Wang took out his cell phone and showed me Lin Zihao's circle of friends. In the photo, Lin Zihao was dressed in a suit and driving a luxury car, looking like a successful man. The caption reads, I am grateful for the arrangement of fate, which allowed me to meet the most important person in my life. From now on, I will use my own abilities to prove that I deserve the best life. After reading it, I laughed. Interesting, this man really doesn't give up. Mr. Jiang, should we? No need. I waved my hand, he can do whatever he wants, it has nothing to do with me. But if he dares to provoke me, don't blame me for being rude. I thought the matter between Lin Zihao and Lu Ruyan was over, but unexpectedly, a week later, I met Lin Zihao again at a business cocktail party. He was holding the arm of a middle-aged woman who was dressed up beautifully, and she must be the rich woman Zhao Yalan. When he saw me, Lin Zihao was obviously stunned for a moment, and then a complicated expression appeared on his face. Mr. Jiang, I didn't expect to meet you here. He took the initiative to come over and say hello. His attitude was much more respectful than before. General Manager Lin, I nodded calmly and congratulated you on your success. No, I still have to thank Yalan for her support. He introduced the woman next to him. This is my girlfriend Zhao Yalan. Yalan, this is Mr. Jiang I mentioned before. Zhao Yalan looked me up and down with a hint of curiosity in her eyes. So this is the famous Mr. Jiang. He is indeed young and promising. Mr. Zhao, thank you for your compliment. I responded politely. Mr. Jiang, can you please have a word with me? Lin Zihao suddenly asked. I looked at him and nodded, okay. We came to the balcony of the cocktail party, which was relatively quiet. Mr. Jiang, I have actually been looking for an opportunity to apologize to you. Lin Zihao's attitude was very sincere. I was wrong about what happened before. Oh? I raised my eyebrows. What do you think is wrong with you? I shouldn't have interfered in your marriage, I shouldn't have been with Lu Ruyan. He paused. In short, I was wrong. Isn't it a bit late to apologize now? I said coldly. I know, but I still want to say it. He took a deep breath and said, also, I want you to let Lu Ruyan go. Let her go? I sneered. General Manager Lin, did you make a mistake? She was the one who provoked me first, and besides, haven't you two broken up? Why are you still speaking for her? He looked a little unhappy. Although we broke up, we still had feelings for each other. She is in a difficult situation now, I hope you can. What can I do? I interrupt him and let him go? Let bygones be bygones? Lin Zihao, I think you're overthinking it. My voice turned cold. Lu Ruyan's experience was entirely her own fault. I have no obligation to be responsible for her choices. Mr. Jiang, you are in such a high position now, why bother with a woman? He tried to persuade me. Care about it? I smiled. Do you think I am caring about it? So what do you think you would do if someone slandered you and damaged your reputation? Will you swallow your anger in silence, or will you use legal means to protect yourself? He was speechless. Besides, I continued, you now have a new backer and are living a good life, so why do you still care about Lu Ruyan's life or death? You're not trying to have the best of both worlds, are you? No. He hastily denied. Yalan and I are sincere, I definitely don't have that kind of thought. That's good. I patted him on the shoulder and said, just focus on your new life and don't worry about other things. After saying that, I turned around and left. Mr. Jiang. He called me. Lu Ruyan, she is in a really difficult situation now, she can't even pay the rent. I stopped and looked back at him. So what? Don't you have any nostalgia at all? Old love? My voice was full of sarcasm. Lin Zihao, do you think there is any old love between us? Or do you think I should think about the betrayed old love? He blushed at what I said. Okay, let's stop talking about this topic. I waved my hand and said I had something else to do, so I left first. Back at the reception, I continued to communicate with other business people. But I noticed that Lin Zihao and Zhao Yalan were talking about something, and Zhao Yalan didn't look very good. When it was almost over, Zhao Yalan actually came over to me. Mr. Jiang, can we chat for a few minutes? Sure. I heard from Zihao that you had some misunderstandings with him? She got straight to the point. It's not a misunderstanding, just some past grudges. I told the truth. Is it because of a woman named Lu Ruyan? I looked at her and nodded. Mr. Jiang, I hope you can let her go for my sake. Zhao Yalan's tone was a little commanding. Mr. Zhao, what you said is interesting. I laughed. Why should I consider your face? Mr. Jiang, I have some influence in this circle, I think we can be friends. Her hint was obvious. Mr. Zhao, you think too much. My attitude is very firm. This is my personal grudge and has nothing to do with business. Moreover, given the size of the Jiang group, it should not need to consider anyone's face. Zhao Yalan's expression changed. Obviously, she didn't expect me to refuse so directly. Mr. Jiang, are you sure you want to do this? Her voice was somewhat threatening. I am sure. I will not give in. And, Mr. Zhao, I advise you not to interfere in this matter. Some people are not worth offending your friends for. After saying that, I turned and left the party. Back in the car, I called Xiao Wang. Please help me check Zhao Yalan's background, the more detailed the better. Also, starting tomorrow, keep a close eye on Lin Ziheo's movements. Yes, Mr. Jiang. I have a feeling this matter is far from over. Lin Ziheo is obviously not a person who will keep to himself. Since he wants to die, I will help him. The next afternoon, Xiao Wang brought Zhao Yalan's detailed information. Mr. Jiang, Zhao Yalan's background is very complicated. How to say it? Her real estate company seemed successful on the surface, but in reality its capital chain was always tight. Moreover, many of her projects have problems and are suspected of cutting corners, and several cases of complaints from owners are still being processed. More importantly, she has connections with some gray forces and often uses unfair means to resolve business disputes. I nodded. No wonder he dared to threaten me. It turns out he is fearless. Mr. Jiang, we have to be careful. People like this are capable of doing anything. Don't worry, she doesn't have the guts to touch me. I sneered, but since she took the initiative to provoke me, don't blame me for being rude. Contact the Planning Bureau, Construction Committee, and Industry and Commerce Bureau and ask them to inspect Zhao Yalan's project. In addition, contact several owners who were deceived by her and help them defend their rights. I understand, Mr. Jiang. Just when I was about to deal with Zhao Yalan, an unexpected piece of news disrupted my plan. Xiao Wang ran into the office in a hurry. Mr. Jiang, something happened. What's up? Lu Ruyan was in a car accident and is now in the hospital for emergency treatment. I was stunned. When did it happen? Just an hour ago, she was hit by a truck and was seriously injured. Moreover, according to eyewitnesses, the truck hit her on purpose. I frowned. On purpose? Yes, there is surveillance video to prove it. The truck could have avoided the car, but it accelerated and hit it. I immediately thought of Zhao Yalan's threat last night. What is the situation now? The doctor said the situation was not optimistic. Xiao Wang looked very serious. In addition, the police are investigating, but the driver of the truck has already fled. I pondered for a while and stood up. Let us go to the hospital. Mr. Jiang, are you going to see Lu Ruyan? Xiao Wang was a little surprised. Not to see her, I said coldly, but to confirm something. If this was really ordered by Zhao Yalan, then she had completely picked the wrong person. I, Jiang Hao, am never afraid of threats. However, I will make those who dare to do this pay the price. When I arrived at the hospital, I saw Lin Ziheo sitting on a chair outside the operating room, holding his head in his hands, looking in pain. When he saw me appear, he was stunned at first, and then a complicated look appeared in his eyes. Mr. Jiang, why are you here? I heard there was a car accident, so I came to check it out. I sat down next to him. What's the situation? Still trying to save her, the doctor said she was seriously injured. His voice was hoarse. Mr. Jiang, I know you hate her, but she is really dying. Do you think I ordered this? I looked at him coldly. No. No. He shook his head hurriedly. I didn't mean that. That's good. I leaned back in my chair and said, let me tell you, what's going on? Lin Ziheo glanced at me, seemingly hesitating whether to tell the truth. Ruyan has indeed had a hard time recently. She can't find a job and can't pay the rent. She called me yesterday and said she wanted to see me because she had something important to tell me. Then what? We met in a coffee shop and she said she was pregnant. I raised my eyebrows. Pregnant? Whose child is it? She said it was mine. Lin Ziheo looked very unhappy, but it had been 2 months since we broke up, so the time didn't match. So you don't believe it? I suspected that she wanted to use this to threaten me, to make me leave Yalan and get back together with her. I refused and had a quarrel with her. He paused, but he didn't expect that she would have a car accident after she came out. I thought for a while, have you watched the surveillance video? Look, the truck did it on purpose. He clenched his fists, but I couldn't imagine who would want to hurt her. Can't think of it? I sneered. Lin Ziheo, can't you think of it? He looked at me, with horror gradually appearing in his eyes. You mean, Yalan? Who else could it be but her? I stood up. She threatened me last night, and Lu Ruyan got into a car accident today. Do you think this is a coincidence? Impossible. He muttered to himself, Yalan would never do such a thing. No? I smiled sarcastically. How well do you know her? Do you know her true identity? Do you know what she did in the past? Lin Ziheo's face turned pale. It seems that you know nothing. I shook my head. Lin Ziheo, do you really think that pie will fall from the sky? Why would a rich woman in her 40s fall for a man like you who has nothing? Just because you are young and handsome? He was speechless because of what I said. I advise you to be careful. I patted his shoulder and said, you can't afford to play with a woman like Zhao Yalan. After saying that, I turned around and left. Mr. Jiang. He called me and asked, if it was really Yalan who did it, would you help? I stopped and looked back at him. Why should I help you? You are not doing this for me, you are doing this for justice. Justice? I sneered. Lin Ziheo, are you qualified to talk about justice? When you seduced a married woman, did you ever think about justice? He lowered his head in shame. However, I changed the subject and said, I really can't let Zhao Yalan get away with it. It's not because of you, but because she dared to threaten me. After saying that, I strode out of the hospital. When I got back to the company, I immediately gathered the core team. From now on, we will fully investigate all illegal activities of Zhao Yalan. Meanwhile, contact the best private investigator to investigate today's car accident. I want to obtain all the evidence of her crimes in the shortest possible time. Yes, Mr. Jiang. Over the next 48 hours, my team was incredibly efficient. Soon, the evidence of Zhao Yalan's crime was placed on my desk. Cutting corners, bribery, malicious tax evasion, violent debt collection. This woman has done almost everything bad. Most importantly, we found evidence that she ordered the car crash. The truck driver has been found by our people. He admitted that he was instructed by Zhao Yalan to deliberately hit and kill Lu Ruyan. Mr. Jiang, the evidence is solid. When should we take action? Xiao Wang asked. No rush. I said calmly, let her be arrogant for a few more days. Once Lu Ruyan's condition stabilizes, I will let Zhao Yalan see her own failure with her own eyes. Sure enough, Zhao Yalan contacted me the next day. Mr. Jiang, I heard that you went to the hospital yesterday? Her voice was full of pride, and it seemed that you still cared about that woman. Mr. Zhao, what do you want to say? My voice was calm. I want to say that if you promise to let Lu Ruyan go now, maybe she can still be saved. But if you continue to be stubborn, it will be hard to say. Threaten me? It's not a threat, it's a friendly suggestion. She smiled and said, Mr. Jiang, although you are rich and powerful, there are some things that money can't solve. For example? For example, accidents. Her voice became cold. There are too many accidents in this world. Car accidents, fires, robberies, who knows who will be the next accident? I sneered, Mr. Zhao, are you sure you want to fight me to the end? It was you who wanted to fight me. She said coldly, I gave you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. Now that Lu Ruyan is done for, it's your turn next. Unless you kneel down and beg me now, maybe I will consider sparing your life. Hearing this, I laughed. Zhao Yalan, do you know what I am thinking now? What are you thinking about? I wonder, are you stupid or crazy? What did you say? She yelled angrily. I say you are stupid because you actually dared to threaten the heir of Jiang Group. I say you are crazy because you actually think you can do whatever you want. Jiang Hao, you. Zhao Yalan, the game is over. I interrupted her and said, I have all the evidence of your crime. Including the recording and witnesses of you ordering the car crash. There was a sudden silence on the other end of the line. Don't believe it? I continued, then wait and see tomorrow's news. No. Impossible. Her voice began to tremble. Nothing is impossible. I said coldly, do you think I, Jiang Hao, am easy to bully? Do you think you can do whatever you want in front of me just by relying on some underworld connections? Zhao Yalan, you are too naive. Jiang Hao, can we talk? Her tone began to beg for mercy. It's too late. I said without hesitation, you touched someone you shouldn't have touched, and threatened someone you shouldn't have threatened. Now, it's your turn to pay. After hanging up the phone, I said to Xiao Wang, let's take action. Yes, Mr. Jiang. Half an hour later, the police showed up at Zhao Yalin's company and home at the same time. She was arrested on multiple charges including attempted homicide, bribery, and tax evasion. Lindsay Hale was also taken away for investigation on suspicion of aiding and abetting a crime. Watching the news footage of them being taken into police cars, I felt a long-lost sense of relief. This is the price of betraying me. This is what happens when you threaten me. The news of Zhao Yalin's arrest quickly spread throughout the business community. Her real estate company collapsed in an instant, all projects were halted, and the stock price plummeted. Although Lindsay Hale was released soon, he completely lost his support. Without Zhao Yalin's protection, he became an ordinary person with nothing again. Mr. Jiang, Lindsay Hale wants to see you, Xiao Wang reported. No, I said without looking up. I have nothing to talk about with him. He said he had important news about Ruyan Lu. I stopped what I was doing and thought for a moment. Let him in. Soon, Lindsay Hale was brought in. After not seeing him for a few days, he looked much more haggard, with untidy beard and wrinkled clothes. Mr. Jiang, thank you for being willing to see me. His attitude was very respectful. Come on, what's the important news? I said coldly. About Ruyan's child. He sat down and said, she is indeed pregnant, but the child is not mine. It's not yours? I raised my eyebrows. Whose is it? It's yours. He looked me in the eyes, the timing was perfect. I was stunned for a moment, then sneered. Lindsay Hale, do you think I would believe this? It's true. He said hurriedly, I calculated the time, she got pregnant when we just met. At that time, she hadn't had sex with me yet. I stared at him for a while, and from his expression, it didn't seem like he was lying. Even if it's true, so what? I said coldly, she betrayed me and we are divorced. The child is innocent. He pleaded, Mr. Jiang, no matter how much you hate Ruyan, the child is always innocent. Innocent? I sneered, Lindsay Hale, do you think you have the right to say such things to me? When you seduced her, did you ever think that I was innocent? He was speechless because of what I said. Moreover, I continued, how can you be sure that the child is mine? Maybe it belongs to another man? After all, her private life is so chaotic. No. He shook his head. Although Ruyan made a mistake, she was not that kind of casual woman. Not casual? I laughed sarcastically. Is cheating on you considered casual? Mr. Jiang, I know you hate her, but I beg you to do it for the sake of the child. That's enough, I interrupted him. This matter has nothing to do with me. Even if the child is really mine, I will not recognize him. Why should I acknowledge the child of a traitor? Lindsay Hale's face turned ugly. Mr. Jiang, how can you be so cold-blooded? Cold-blooded? I stood up and walked in front of him. Do you know what cold-blooded means? Being cold-blooded means seducing someone even though you know that the other person is married. They are cold-blooded and betray those who trust them for money and status. Being cold-blooded means that after being discovered, not only do you not repent, but you also bite back. These are called cold-blooded. What I said made him blush and speechless. Go away. I'll go back to my seat and don't come to me again. Mr. Jiang. Security. I shouted to the door. Soon, the security guard came in and took Lindsay Hale away. As I watched him being dragged away, I felt no wave of emotion in my heart. Child? So what if it really is mine? Why should I acknowledge the child of a traitor? In the afternoon, Xiao Wang brought the latest news. Mr. Jiang, Lu Ruyan is out of danger, but is still in a coma. In addition, the hospital confirmed that she was indeed pregnant, about 2 months. I nodded and said nothing. Mr. Jiang, are you really not going to take a look? Xiao Wang asked tentatively. What are you looking at? I said coldly, looking at a woman who betrayed me? Or looking at a child who might not be mine at all? But what if? There is no such thing as a last resort. I said firmly that this matter ends here and I don't want to hear any more news about her. I understand. Xiao Wang said no more. And so, another week passed. That night, I was reading at home when suddenly the doorbell rang. When I opened the door, I saw a middle-aged woman I didn't recognize. Who are you looking for? Are you Mr. Jian Hao? I am Lu Ruyan's mother. Her eyes are red and swollen, obviously she has been crying. can I come in and say a few words? I hesitated and let her in. Mr. Jiang, please save Ruyan. She knelt down as soon as she came in. She is still unconscious in the hospital. The doctor said the situation is not optimistic. Auntie, please stand up and talk. I helped her up, but I couldn't help her in this matter. You can help. She grabbed my hand and the doctor said she needed surgery now, but it was expensive and we couldn't afford it. Besides, she has your child in her belly. The child is not mine, I said coldly. It's yours, it's really yours. She cried and said, Ruyan has never lied since she was a child. If she says it's yours, then it's definitely yours. Even if it's mine, so what? There was no warmth in my voice. She betrayed me and we're divorced. Mr. Jiang, I know Ruyan has let you down, but the child is innocent. She cried even harder, please save her for the sake of the child. Looking at the old man's tears, I felt touched. But I quickly suppressed this emotion. Auntie, I understand your feelings as a mother. I said calmly, but there are some things that I can't help with. Your daughter made her choice and now faces the consequences. Mr. Jiang. You go back. I'll open the door, and I won't change my mind. She looked at me desperately and finally left. After closing the door, I leaned against the wall and let out a long sigh. Maybe I'm really cold-blooded. However, the pain of being betrayed can only be understood by those who have experienced it. Lu Ruyan, this is the price of your choice. The next morning, I received an unexpected news as soon as I arrived at the company. President Zhang Lu Ruyan has woken up, Xiao Wang reported. Wake up? I stopped what I was doing. Yes, she woke up last night. She is in good spirits now, but still very weak. Besides, she specifically asked to see you. I was silent for a while. What did she say? She said she had something important to tell you, about the baby. I thought about it for a moment and finally decided to go and take a look. It's not because of forgiveness, but because I want a complete break. When I arrived at the hospital, Lu Ruyan was lying on the hospital bed. She had lost a lot of weight and her face was as pale as paper, but her eyes were still clear. When she saw me come in, a complex emotion flashed in her eyes. Jiang Hao, you are here. Her voice was weak. I heard you wanted to see me. I sat down on the bed. What's the matter? About the child. She stroked her belly and said, he is yours, really yours. I know you don't believe it, but I can do a paternity test. So what if it's mine? I said coldly, Lu Ruyan, do you think I would want a child from a traitor? Tears welled up in her eyes. Jiang Hao, I know I am sorry for you, but the child is innocent. Innocent? I sneered. What about me? Am I innocent? 3 years of sincerity was exchanged for betrayal and deception. Am I innocent? She started crying. Jiang Hao, I really know I was wrong. I am willing to use my life to make up for the harm I have done to you, but please don't involve the child. Make up? I looked at her and asked, do you think some things can be made up? Once trust is broken, it can never be repaired. Once love is betrayed, it can never be regained. Jiang Hao, she wanted to say something, but was interrupted by me. I came here just to tell you one thing. I stood up and from now on, we have nothing to do with each other. Your children are your choice and you bear the consequences yourself. Don't send anyone else to me, I won't change my mind. After saying that, I turned around and left. Jiang Hao. She suddenly shouted, are you really so heartless? I stopped and didn't look back. Heartless? My voice was calm. Lu Ruyan, you were the first to be heartless to me. Now it's your turn to feel it. When I walked out of the ward, I met Lin Zihao who was waiting in the corridor. Mr. Jiang, have you met Ruyan? He came over hurriedly. I have seen it, I said coldly. How is she? I couldn't die. I kept going. Mr. Jiang, she is really in pain now, can't you? Lin Zihao. I stopped and turned to look at him. What do you want to say? I'd say maybe you should give her a chance. Opportunity? I sneered. Did she ever give me a chance? When she chose to betray me, did she ever think of giving our marriage a chance? That's different. What's the difference? I interrupted him. Lin Zihao, don't you know what you have done? Do you think it's appropriate for me to come here and pretend to be a good person again? He was speechless because of what I said. I said it one last time. I looked at him coldly. This matter has nothing to do with me. You can do whatever you want, but don't come to me again. Otherwise, I don't mind letting you know what true ruthlessness is. After saying that, I strode out of the hospital. Back at the company, I tried to focus on my work, but I kept thinking about what I had just seen in the ward. Lu Ruyan's pale face, desperate eyes, and the baby in her belly. Mr. Jiang, are you okay? Xiao Wang asked with concern. It's okay. I shook my head and asked him to help me arrange it. I want to go on a business trip for a few days. Where to go? Whatever, the farther the better. Okay, I'll arrange it right away. Maybe if I leave for a while, I can completely forget all these troubles. However, things did not develop as I expected. 3 days later, I was on a business trip when I suddenly received an urgent call from Xiao Wang. Mr. Jiang, something happened. What's up? Lu Ruyan was discharged from the hospital, but she did not go home. Instead, she came downstairs to our company. She said she would wait for you to come back, no matter how long it took. I frowned. Where is the security? She didn't go into the company, but sat in the cafe across the street. Moreover, her physical condition seemed to be very poor and she almost fainted several times. I was silent for a while. Don't worry about her, let her wait if she wants. But, Mr. Jiang, it's raining outside, and she is so weak. I told you to ignore her, I said irritably. After hanging up the phone, I tried to get on with my work, but I was still feeling uneasy. An hour later, Xiao Wang called again. Mr. Jiang, Lu Ruyan fainted and was sent to the hospital. The doctor said she died of overwork and malnutrition. And the child may not be saved. When I heard the news, my heart suddenly tightened. When did it happen? Just 10 minutes ago. Rescue is underway now. I was silent for a long time, and finally said, I understand. After hanging up the phone, I sat in the hotel room with mixed feelings. The child may not be saved. If this is really my child, then what does it mean? Did I kill my own child with indifference? No, it's not my fault. It was Lu Ruyan's own choice. She was the one who betrayed me first, she was the one who hurt me first. I have no obligation to be responsible for her choices. But why do I feel uneasy? Why do I feel some regret? The next morning, I ended my business trip early and returned to the city. Although I said I didn't care, I couldn't help but go to the hospital. We learned from the nurse that Lu Ruyan was out of danger again, but the child was not saved. The patient's condition was still very unstable. The nurse told me that her will to live seemed weak and she kept talking nonsense. What nonsense are you talking about? She kept saying sorry, saying that she killed the child, and that Jiang Hao would never forgive her. Hearing this, I felt mixed emotions. I came to the door of the ward and saw Lu Ruyan inside through the glass window. She was thinner than before and looked as fragile as a piece of paper. She closed her eyes and her lips kept moving, as if she was saying something. I pushed the door open and walked in. She opened her eyes when she heard footsteps. Jiang Hao? When she saw me, a hint of surprise flashed in her eyes. You're back? I heard you were in the hospital again. I sat down beside the bed. The child is gone. Tears welled up in her eyes. I killed him. If I hadn't come to you, if I had rested, maybe he wouldn't have. It's over. I interrupted her. Jiang Hao, do you hate me? She looked at me. Because I killed your child, do you hate me even more? I was silent for a long time, and finally said, I don't know. I don't know what that child means to me. But since it's gone, there's no point in saying these things. She cried even harder. Jiang Hao, I really know I was wrong. If I could do it again, I would never do those things. I would give my life in exchange for our past. There is no if. I said calmly, Lu Ruyan, there is no chance to start over in life. You make a choice and you bear the consequences. What about you? She suddenly asked, do you regret it now? What do you regret? I regret being so cruel to me. I thought about it, maybe a little. But that doesn't mean I will forgive you. Some hurts cannot be forgiven. She nodded, I understand. Jiang Hao, I have another request. Explain. When I'm discharged from the hospital, I want to leave the city, she said weakly, to go to a place where no one knows me and start over. But before I leave, I'd like to treat you to a meal, just as a farewell. I looked at her haggard face and finally nodded. Good. A week later, Lu Ruyan was discharged from the hospital. She asked me to meet her at the restaurant where we had our first date. When I arrived, she was already there waiting for me. She was wearing a simple white dress and no makeup, but she looked more energetic than when she was in the hospital. You are here. She smiled at me, but the smile was a little forced. Let's order. I sat down. Still the same, the ones you like. She has already ordered. I remember you like the braised pork here best. Soon, the food came. We ate in silence, no one spoke. This silence reminded me of when we first met. We were like that back then, a little shy and nervous. Jiang Hao. She suddenly asked, do you remember the first time we came here? Remember. You were so nervous at that time that you couldn't even speak clearly. She smiled and said, I think you are very cute. We were so innocent back then. Yes. I nodded, if only that kind of innocence could be maintained forever. Jiang Hao, if we hadn't met Lin Zihao, would we be happy forever? I put down my chopsticks and looked at her. Lu Ruyan, there are no ifs. Even if there was no Lin Zihao, there would be Zhang Zihao and Wang Zihao. The problem is not with him, but with you. She was silent for a long time, and finally nodded, you are right. It's my problem, it's all my problem. Jiang Hao, I want to tell you something. What's up? Actually, from the very beginning, I knew you were not an ordinary person. I was stunned. What does that mean? Your temperament, your conversation, and your knowledge are not like those of an ordinary programmer. She smiled bitterly, but I pretended not to know because I found this kind of life very interesting. Later I met Lin Zihao. I thought he was the real rich second generation, so you betrayed me? My voice turned cold. It's not about money. She said hastily, it's about vanity. I wanted to prove that I deserved a better man, I wanted everyone to envy me. As a result, I lost everything. I looked at her with mixed feelings. Lu Ruyan, you know what? If you had told me these thoughts honestly, maybe we wouldn't have come to this point today. I thought about it, too. She had tears in her eyes, but I was afraid that you would look down on me and that you would know that I was a vain woman. So I chose to deceive and to betray. Jiang Hao, I really regret this. I regret it so much that I want to die. But I know that regret is useless, I have already lost you. We fell silent again. Finally, she stood up. Jiang Hao, thank you for being willing to have this meal with me. Starting tomorrow, I will leave this city. We may never meet again. But I want you to know that meeting you is the luckiest thing in my life. Even though I messed up everything, I never regretted falling in love with you. After saying that, she turned and left. Lu Ruyan. I called her. She turned her head, her eyes full of anticipation. Take care, I said. There was a flash of disappointment in her eyes, but she quickly smiled. The same to you. Watching her leaving, I felt a mixture of emotions. This woman was once the most important person in my life. Even though she betrayed me and hurt me, I have to admit that I still care about her. Maybe this is the cruelty of love. My heart skipped a beat. A new vice president? How come I didn't know? But some things really can't be undone. Some people are destined to become the past. Goodbye, Lu Ruyan. I hope you can find your happiness in a new place. And it's time for me to start my life again. Ending. 3 years later, I overheard someone mention Ruyan Lu's name at a business meeting. It is said that she opened a flower shop in a small city in the south and lived a peaceful life. She never remarried, ran the shop by herself, and occasionally did some charity work. When I heard the news, I had an indescribable feeling in my heart. Perhaps this ending is the best for her. As for me, after all these years of ups and downs, I have also learned how to love and how to trust. Last year, I met a wonderful girl. She is simple, kind, and most importantly, she loves the real me. We plan to get married next year. Maybe, this is fate. Everyone has to pay a price for their choices. But at the same time, everyone has the opportunity to start over. The story of betrayal ends and a new life begins.